This is the Mariners POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Seattle Mariners. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Guys, I'm just going to be completely honest. It's becoming very, very difficult not to really jump ahead of ourselves right now. As a Mariners fan and as someone who's never experienced this before, every scenario is rushing through my head. But guys, the Mariners have a 2-0 lead in the ALCS, taking both games in Toronto. Two, I think, close to absolute perfect games from the Seattle Mariners. Everything you could have hoped for. Even when things went poorly, they made adjustments, they responded, and just as commanding of a 2-game series lead as you possibly can take against a Toronto team that was firing on all cylinders coming into this point. But welcome to the Mariners POSTCAST. My name's Anderson Hurst. I got Chris Crawford next to me. We go live right after every single Mariner baseball game. Tidy Gonzalez, Colby Patnode, have your Locked On Mariners daily content. We got your post-game content here. We're happy you're joining us, and happy you're joining us in this situation as the Mariners are now 2 wins away from appearing in their first ever World Series in franchise history. Chris Crawford, explain the 10-3 win that Seattle comes out with today.
Man, it's hard to, because there was a moment where it looked like it was going to be a blowout in the first inning. And then from the bottom of the first until I think it was the top of the 5th or 6th, it was not looking great. But you know what? Didn't matter, because the Seattle Mariners just have something about them right now, man. And this was fun. Yesterday was a lot of fun, but today was like really fun because of what you saw from the offense. Like so many good at bats, so many ding dongs, so many clutch hits. This was just such terrific baseball. I love how Dan Wilson managed the bullpen today. I love everything about this. And now the Seattle Mariners have never won a third game in an LCS before. And they've certainly never been up 2-0 in an LCS. They've won 2 twice. Now they have a chance to do something that, how many times have we said it, Anders? For the first time.
So many times.
Not just the first time in 24 years, the first time ever. Man, this is really cool, and a ton of credit all around to all 26 and the coaching staff as well.
Yeah, it's starting to feel real, at least for me. And not that it wasn't before, but you can taste it, I guess, is kind of the where I'm starting to get to. And I'm not saying the series is over or anything like that. It absolutely is not. We have seen situations where the road team has won the first 2 games, comes back, and they lose all 3 of their home games. So this is not in a series over conversation that we're having today. We are going to talk about how impressed we are with the first 2 games, especially today, from your Seattle Mariners. And we normally start with the start. We're going to talk about Logan Gilbert's start. We're going to talk about the bullpen usage and what Chris loved about the decisions and the execution, both process and result, and then of course the offense as well. So let's start with Logan Gilbert, because boy, it looked a little shaky out of the gate. He was getting hard hits, maybe getting squeezed a little bit as well. Side note, I'm sure you're going to talk about the umpiring, Chris, but I cannot wait for this ump scorecard. I'm going to be completely honest. It's going to be pathetic.
So bad. And the thing that's going to be bad, and look, the Mariners got some breaks here too, right?
Yes, they did.
Randy Arozarena in the first inning should have been struck out. Now, kind of, because the first pitch to him was a ball that got called a strike. So Riz, I was listening to it on the radio, said, hey, it kind of evens out there. But of course he did, because that guy loves the Seattle Mariners more than anything in the entire world. Doug Eddings was pathetic. It's absolutely embarrassing. People keep defending this stuff. If you are anti-ABS, you are just an old curmudgeon who doesn't like change, and you fear change, and that sucks. I feel bad for you. I feel really bad for you, because that's how life works. It changes. We evolve. We are better. We have technology. We can rebuild him. As for Gilbert, so I thought the stuff was good. I thought the command was really bad. Having said that, should have gotten out of this thing with only giving up 1 run. Should have gotten out of this. And also, let's keep in mind that this was a guy who was on 2 days rest, who had thrown 30 pitches. That's quite a bit,
Yeah.
And I didn't really think about this until Nathan brought it up on Mollywop Monday. This is a horrible matchup for Logan Gilbert because Logan Gilbert relies on swing and miss as much as anybody. And the Blue Jays just don't swing and miss. They are a team that is built on making contact. Having said that, too, if Josh Naylor makes a very easy play on a flip to first base, you get out of that inning with 1 run. If Doug Eddings isn't as bad as anyone in baseball at calling balls and strikes, he gets out of that inning with no runs. Okay? So I'm not saying that Logan Gilbert was great. I'm also saying I saw nothing today that suggests, boy, I sure am worried about starting him going forward either. Like, I still have a ton of confidence in that guy facing the Dodgers, facing the Brewers, and really facing the Blue Jays as well. Yeah. Like, I think that guy's stuff played just fine. I think we maybe underestimated what 31 pitches on Friday did for the guy as well.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people were questioning why it wasn't Castillo. If you look at the overwhelming kind of bulk of the last week, Castillo's thrown like 14 pitches in 8 days. Gilbert has like over 100 in the last 8 days. So there is a giant difference, but Castillo also pitched as recently as Logan Gilbert did.
Sure.
So if that's the reason why Logan was a little bit like, okay, it's not normally an up-down situation like we've talked about all the time with starting pitchers coming out of the bullpen, all that stuff. Maybe that was a similar situation with Castillo, even though the overall workload maybe is a little bit lighter as well. Right. But so on hindsight, do you think it was the right? And we can, of course, be picky with what's going on now that we know the Mariners have a 2-0 lead. But in hindsight, was it the right decision still to go to Gilbert in game 2?
I do think so. And there's a couple of reasons why. Number one, Logan Gilbert has been so good. Number two, Luis Castillo has been so much better at home. And here's the other thing, and I brought this up with Anders in our text chain. I want the Rock start in game 4. I want him either pitching a pivotal. I guess it's pivotable because, if teams win, reverse pivot basketball. I want him either pitching the game that sends the Seattle Mariners to the World Series. I want him pitching that game that gets you a 3-1 lead. I want the Rock in that situation. I want the high floor guy. So that's the other thing here too. And you just cannot ignore that Luis Castillo has been so much better in Safeco, T-Mobile, Boost Mobile, whatever park you want to call it. I don't have any issues with it. I wish Gilbert would have gotten a little bit more help, and I think the start would have looked better. I also want to give Dan Wilson credit for saying enough is enough. After a very solid third inning, they said, let's go to this bullpen. And oh my gosh, this bullpen was phenomenal with the exception of maybe the last 2 innings. The results are spectacular.
Yeah. Let's look at that bullpen outing because Logan Gilbert just goes to 3 innings today. 5 hits, 3 runs, 2 earned. 2 of the 3 were earned. 1 walk, 2 Ks. Not a very Logan Gilbert outing, but again, not explosion worthy. Kept you in the game. The 3-0 lead in the first really, really helped. Thank you, Julio Rodriguez. We'll get to that later.
Oh yeah.
Edward Bizardo comes in and just shuts it down. I think Carlos Vargas looked really good today. And while Emerson Hancock, there were some shaky situations, still ends up kind of being okay. 2 innings of no hit, no run, but 3 walks is not what you want. But still ends up no runs from any of the bullpen today.
Yeah, and here's the thing, guys. If Carlos Vargas gives up 2 and Emerson Hancock would have given up 3, you still win this game by a fairly considerable, not considerable, but it would have been not close. He managed the bullpen well today. Dan Wilson managed the ball well. There was one ball off of Carlos Vargas' bat that, and I can't even remember who hit it now, that I thought that ball was gone for sure. I think it was Dalton Varsho. Yeah. But it wasn't. And outside of that, I thought he pitched outstanding. And I'll give credit to Hancock. This guy, first of all, he has the opposite issue with what Gilbert had. He hadn't pitched in 2 weeks? That seems at least that long. He's making his postseason debut. He's getting a chance to close out a game, and I know it's a blowout, but it's still a chance to get the final outs in a postseason game, one of the biggest games in Seattle Mariner history. It's not surprising he was overthrowing. Now, I will say this. I saw nothing from Hancock that suggests, boy, maybe he is a high leverage option right now. No. And some of that's just credit to Bizzardo and to Brash and to Spire for the most part as well. But he did his job. He got his job, and it's a terrific job for a Dan Wilson of not panicking. I know we saw Munoz warming up late. Let him finish this thing. You're up by a touchdown. Let the dude finish this thing. Get some of the rust off of the arm. I really like how he finished it, getting that double play ground ball. But 6 innings of shutout baseball from your bullpen against this offense is beyond commendable.
Yeah, and I want to. We didn't really totally get to the Vargas, but I want to give him a quick shout out too, because he kind of, his 2 innings kind of solidified that this was a blowout. You know what I mean? So
yeah, absolutely.
It was like still like, hey, they can mount a comeback at this point when he came in the 6th inning. And he does his job excellently. I texted my friend who was like, oh, we're bringing in Vargas now. I'm like, theoretically, it's actually a good matchup, I think, with the Blue Jays because of how right-handed heavy they are and because they put the ball in play. He gets a lot of soft contact. He doesn't get the strikeouts very much, but you're still going to be nervous because of what we've seen from him, and he just does his job perfectly.
Yeah, absolutely. And the big thing for me is he throws strikes. He absolutely, everybody today outside of Hancock threw strikes. I know they end up walking 5. And, Vargas does issue 1 walk. And please stop walking the 9th hitter. That's something the Mariners did twice today, which is not my absolute favorite. But if you're going to do it when you're up a touchdown. Do it when you are in control of the game. I thought Carlos Vargas was absolutely fantastic tonight. And he's that type of guy you want to use for multiple innings in games that are on the plus-minus side of 4 runs.
Yep, and that's exactly what happened today. Mariners win this one 10-3. Let's talk some Mo, because I think while keeping the Blue Jays to 3 runs and still 0 from the bullpen is a win. An even bigger one was scoring 10 on the other side. So we'll talk about the offense here on the other side of the break in the Mariners postcast. Anderson Hurst, Chris Crawford with you again. Mariners win this one 10-3 to go up 2-0 in the ALCS. They come home for 3 games, hoping to close it out. Let's not let this one get back to Toronto. All right, we'll be right back here on the Mariners postcast. Stay with us. We'll talk some offense in a second. The NFL season is here, and FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet. Put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And that app is awesome, guys. I've said it every single time that I talk about FanDuel, and I'm going to keep saying it because I think it's what separates them from every other betting site that there is. It's so easy to track all of your bets, whether you're a live bet person, a prop bet, over-unders, futures, anything you want. I'm kind of looking at like a Sam Darnold MVP dark horse sort of situation here because he's been playing out of his mind, and he's still the odds makers haven't really given him the love that I believe he deserves. There's a possibility there. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but throw down a couple bucks and you have a chance to make something happen. Whether you're a casual fan or love diving into the stats, FanDuel makes the game day experience so much better. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started.
Most people can't tell you what's in their 401k. They can't tell you what it's worth, their investments, their properties. And when you don't have the full picture, you can end up leaving money on the table. And that's why there is Monarch Money. It's an all-in-one personal interface tool that brings your entire financial portfolio together in one clean, easy-to-use interface on your laptop or on your phone. Monarch is built for people with busy lives. If you've been putting off, organizing your finances, Monarch is for you. It does the heavy lifting for you. You can link all your accounts in minutes, see clear data visuals, get smart categorization of your spending, and finally feel in control of your money without ever touching a spreadsheet. Sometimes we get a little bit ahead of ourselves and we only look at the short term. And sometimes we do the opposite. Sometimes we forget about the fact that we have subscriptions and bills that are in front of us that we have to take care of so that we can help with the long term. Either way, you need something like Monarch Money to make sure all of your interface is taken care of in one easy to use app. So do not let financial opportunity slip through the cracks. Use code LOCKEDONMLB at monarchmoney.com in your browser for half off your first year. That's 50% off your first year at monarchmoney.com with code LOCKEDONMLB.
Welcome back to the Mariners Postcast. Anderson Hurst, Chris Crawford with you. Let's talk about some offense. Mariners win this one 10-3 over the Blue Jays. God, these last two games, it's weird not having like full-on stress balls of baseball games. But it's just what happened. I guess I want to attribute that a little bit to I think a downgrade in manager in your last two opponents. To be completely honest, because I think AJ Hinch is one of the best in the game. And I don't really like John Schneider that much. So that's kind of my in headcanon what's going on here. But I think the Mariners they're playing really good baseball at a really good time in the season, obviously. So let's talk about that offense a little bit. 10-3. I mean, what can you say? You get right off the bat, you get hit by pitch technically against Arozarena, a walk to Cal, and then Julio with the 3-run jack to set the tone in the first inning. Yeah. And a bunch more after that. Chris, where do you want to go with this?
Yeah, let's talk about that first inning because, like I said, Randy should have struck out. Yep. Even if you take the acknowledgement of the first pitch being a strike or a ball that was called a strike, but he ends up. And by the way, this really bugs me. Randy should get a walk. It was a 3-2 pitch, right? It was outside of the strike zone, so you should get credit for the walk there. But instead, it counts as an HBP, which I guess he doesn't mind. He's got like 30 of them. He is the Cuban Ty France, as everyone has always said. Then Big Dumper lays off a nice pitch. You get first and second, nobody out. And then Julio Rodriguez, it falls down 0-2. And I'm like, are they going to miss this opportunity here? Nope. Because Julio Rodriguez just absolutely shellacks a splitter. And that was my biggest concern coming into today was how were they going to handle that splitty from Trey Yesevich? But I also mentioned on Mollywop Monday, if you're patient with this guy, you can have success. And the patience really pays off there. A solo ding-dong's great there. But a 3-run homer there to kind of set that tone. And the big thing there for me is, Logan Gilbert ends up coughing up the lead, but it's 3-3 instead of 3-0. That's a huge difference there. I loved so many Julio Rodriguez at bats. We'll get into Polanco and Naylor and all that stuff.
Yep.
The unsung moment for me, and this is going to come across as me being the biggest Julio apologist in the world.
Of course.
It's Julio Rodriguez striking out because he's looking slider there on that pitch, right?
And it goes right down the middle. Everyone's like, why are you taking that right
down the middle?
Yeah.
Because he's looking slider there. The best thing that happens if he makes contact is 4-6-3 or 6-4-3. He hits into a double play. The inning's still going, but sometimes taking a strikeout when you're beat is so much better than swinging and making weak contact and making worse things happen. I can't prove that's what Julio's thinking in that situation, but I wish people taught that more. Like, hey, if you're beaten in that situation, don't try to foul it off. Don't take a defensive swing because only bad things can happen in that situation. It ended up being a huge moment there. But I thought, even with a couple of strikeouts to end the game, I thought Julio Rodriguez had a terrific offensive game and is apparently sees the ball well in Toronto. Sees the ball well in Toronto for sure. Hopefully he can keep that going. But there were some other guys who had great offensive days too.
Yeah, I just want to mention something really quick. We've kind of sung the praises all year about strikeouts are just outs, guys.
Yeah.
And I think when Julio was struggling a little bit early on, he was very focused on not
very
striking
cognizant of it. Yep.
And it's almost like he's like, all right, fine. If you beat me, you beat me. And again, this is one of those situations where a strikeout's actually better than putting the ball in play
1,000%.
because of you have guys on first and second. Of course, Polanco right after that hits the home run. You score one less run if that happens, and you have one more out, so one less opportunity to do something, do some damage. Guys, I can't express this enough. Like, sometimes it's a process versus result situation. We talked about this with baseball so often. And to me, I was almost, I don't want to say more impressed with the strikeout than the home run, but we know Julio can get to that pitch when it's there. I am more impressed in terms of his development with him being okay being like, yeah, okay, you beat me. I'm still going to look for my pitch, and when I see it, I'm going to hit it. And I think he did that today because he took a walk as well. So did he take 2 walks? I think he just got the one. No, he just got the one. But
just
still,
the one. But
like,
he's drawn plenty of walks lately. It's been
exactly.
Great to see.
I'd rather him be more selective and then shellac the ones that he sees, and maybe he gets a couple extra Ks, but that's okay with me. I am totally fine with that.
Absolutely. And it's just a matter of being assertive and not swinging at pitches outside of the strike zone. That's the biggest thing for me, is less like, there are guys who hit the ball well outside of the strike zone, and Julio's one of those guys. We've certainly seen him do damage on pitches outside of the plate. We saw a guy who go 3 for 4 today who's really good at hitting pitches outside of the strike zone today in Josh Naylor. There are those guys, but the process matters. The process of seeing the baseball better, the process of not giving up outs and swinging at pitches that you can't drive for the sake of swinging, that matters. That 100% matters. I loved what I saw from him today. I loved what I saw from Cal Raleigh today with a couple of walks. I thought Randy, he strikes out 3 times, but I think there were some really good at-bats in there as well. I mean, do we just do a 45-minute Jorge Polanco tribute video?
Fest.
I mean, that's such a huge moment. And it's so funny because you end up winning by a touchdown, like I've said like 6 times. And part of it's because I have to cover this Washington Commanders Chicago Bear game for NBC and got to be in the football mode. It's easy to forget that without that homer, the Mariners are in a world of hurt. A world of hurt. He's just spectacular. And I was talking to my buddy RJ Anderson at CBS Sports about this, and I said, RJ, is there anybody who's made more money this year than Jorge Polanco, especially over the last 2 months? And he said, maybe Trent Grisham, and that's it. Like, those are the 2 guys that have made themselves some bucks this year. And I just keep going back to how great the story is. And I don't blame anyone who didn't want Jorge Polanco back. Right. I wasn't exactly thrilled when I saw that he was trying to play third base and, they did nothing else in the offseason. Nothing. I'm so glad he's a Seattle Mariner. I don't know where they'd be without him. I really don't know where they'd be without him. I think I do. We're watching these games at home and talking about the ALCS between the Houston Astros probably and the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, I just think I've come I don't know if I'm the one who came up with this. My friend texted it to me and I loved it so much that I've tweeted it a couple times. It's runners and scoring Polanco. He has been your clutchest hitter in the postseason at the very least. Just because of every single time he comes up to the plate, you trust him to have a good at bat, and he's done it in the big moments. And the walk-off in the ALDS Game 5 is a great example of that today as well. So the Mariners go up 6-3. I want a quick shout-out, and my unsung hero is going to be Eugenio Suarez today because I want to say I know he only gets the 1 hit, he gets the 1 hit, strikes out 2 times. But he gets a walk, and he hits 2 other balls really hard as well. He hits one to straight at the left fielder. I forget who was playing left for Toronto today, but I just think it's starting to slowly come around with him. I realize that it's not the results that everyone was expecting when we traded for him, but I still think he's going to have something to stay. He has a big moment in him, whether it's during this series and hopefully at some point later in the postseason. But I think it's starting to click a little bit for him. I just wanted to give him a quick shout out because I think he played a good baseball game today. Yeah,
I think he was fine. There are pitches that he's just missing, and there are like that play by Varsho, and I'll talk about Varsho in a second here. That ball, when Gino's right, that's a homer. That's a homer that he's hitting over the fence. It's concerning to me, although he just misses a homer yesterday, so I don't want to go too crazy. But he played a solid game. My unsung hero, the unsung moment to me was the Julio strikeout. The unsung hero for me, the Mitch Garver triple. I'm going with Mitch Garver. And man, oh man, Dalton Varsho misplayed that baseball, but the hard contact you saw there. And I love how aggressive the Mariners were in making sure that run got home, because the difference between being up 3 and 4, if you take a look at the statistics, man, it is crazy how much more likely you are to win. But man, oh man, that was a huge moment. it's been great to see him make hard contact against lefties. Like you saw the sacrifice fly against Tariq Skubal. You see that triple that was horribly misplayed by Varsho, but still, you know, it wasn't going to get caught, but he probably is a double if he plays it a little bit better. Real quick, John Schneider, who I don't think is a bad manager. I don't think he's as good as AJ Hinch. I'm not even sure if he's as good as Dan Wilson. Challenging that play is one of the silliest things I've ever seen in my entire life. For those who missed it, Randy Arozarena hits a single. Andres Jimenez almost makes a great play, but makes a bad throw. It hits Gino, who is sitting in the dugout. And I got to admit, I have the game on mute, but apparently Schneider challenges that it was interference or something along those lines. What? What are you doing? What are you doing, dude? That was like that. I was guffawed, and I just happened to. I'm not going to promote anybody else's podcast, but I turned on Talking Baseball just for a sec because I knew they were doing a live reaction, and I was like, "Am I crazy, or is this a horrible challenge?" Oh, they were very, very much on it that this is a horrible decision. Yeah. I honestly don't know what John Schneider's doing, other than, you know what? You get two of them. You might as well use one, I guess. But oh my gosh, they're lucky that didn't bite them in the tuchus, because there was no way in Hades they were going to change that call.
Nope, not at all. But Mariners end up winning this one 10-3. You get home runs from Josh Naylor. We still haven't talked about that. Don't have a ton of time. I'll just mention he's starting to look a lot better at the plate.
So much better. Gets the stolen base as well.
It makes up for his error in the first inning with a great play as well. Later in the game, I forget which inning it was, but kind of a diving stop there to kind of limit the damage when it was still tied. And then Jorge Polanco, 3 multi-run home runs. We'll get the job done. We'll take that every single day of the week.
Crazy.
And, of course, the sacrifice fly from J.P. Crawford as well. So, or not sack fly, it was a hit. My bad.
He gets a sack fly and a hit today. So that was nice to see as well. Yep. He's had some good at-bats. It's so funny looking at Crawford with a 231, 241 average on base percentage. You're so used to seeing those walks for him that he just hasn't drawn those free passes so far. But the entire offense was good today. I would say the one guy that I'm concerned about right now is Dom Canzone the most, because it's just not happening.
Do you start Leo Rivas over him at this point?
I might consider it. And just, that's a nice weapon to have off the bench. The threat of the ding dong is something to keep in mind. But this is so fun, guys. Yep. And now, I mean, if you're Toronto, Go ahead. No, sorry. I was just going to say the Toronto Blue Jays have to win 4 out of 5 now. You have to win 4 out of 5 games, and you have to play the next 3. And I know Toronto won 3 in Seattle. That was such a different baseball team back then. You are now winning 1 series away from doing something you've never done in your history, and that's really cool.
Yeah, really, really cool. If you can, I know the tickets are expensive, guys, but if you can,
get a chance.
Please go. You will not regret it, number 1. Number 2, just know that you're doing your part in that it's a Mariners fan going to the game and not Blue Jays fans, because that will play a part in these next couple games. Hopefully not as much as a lot of people think, but let's make it happen. I don't want to see the infestation of Blue Jays.
I'm just going to tell you right now, if you're watching this, I'm not going to make financial decisions for you. I will judge you if you sell your tickets in this game. I will judge you. If that means anything to you, probably shouldn't. I will judge you if you sell those tickets to somebody with a Nova Scotia address. I'm just telling you right freaking now.
Or at least if you're going to do it, make sure it's a Mariners fan that's going, right?
Yeah.
Like someone you know.
Home field advantage. Again, this, especially in today's time and age, I don't like telling people how to spend their money, but I will judge you if you sell your tickets to Blue Jays fans. 1,000%.
Mariners take the 2-0 ALCS lead and head back home for 3 games. We get George Kirby on Wednesday. We get Luis Castillo on Thursday, and some combination of Brian Wu and Bryce Miller, I would expect in Game 5 on Friday.
Miller Werber. Yeah,
I like that. Enjoy this, guys. This has been a fun ride. We never know when it's going to stop, but it's looking good right now. Hopefully the Mariners can get the job done. Don't let it go back to Toronto. That's all I'm going to say. Let's have some fun here in these next 3 games. We'll talk to you later. Look out for an episode of Locked On Mariners. Ty Dan Gonzalez, Colby Patno will have something later this evening. But for Christopher Crawford, I'm Anderson Hurst. You've been listening to the Mariners Postcast. We'll talk to you guys after the game on Wednesday.
This is the Mariners Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Seattle